lying, you standing on this island by yourself. Because if you got something to tell these people,
I don't have nothing
because they have a way to tell if you're lying.
I was not there at 7 o'clock. I was asleep. I don't know what y'all want me to do. Like, I'm telling you stuff.
They want you to tell them I'm lying, and I'm telling them the truth. And you're sitting there going with them. Why are you believing them? They are not your son. Stop believing them. Oh, no, I was not there. Like, I didn't say
I
you
was
were.
not there.
I didn't say you were there.
Wait,
First and
I'm
foremost.
not sitting there just moving everything you're saying.
No, you lie so much. I don't know what to believe what comes out your mouth. You so quick to want to protect people, don't want to snitch, want to be cool this and cool that you're willing to sit here and go down for murder that I know you didn't do. I know for a fact that you didn't do it.
Well, you need to, if you ain't doing
the time,
now's the whole story. You know you left out of the house Thursday when I told you not to. That's why you're not saying you was home. When I told you don't leave out my house when dark time. Just because my room door closed don't mean you leave out my house. Now you in a whole run of trouble.
And that's
you finna speak. You better talk right now.
And we're past that. We know you went out, but we need to know from the beginning, from your mouth, what it was. Because you came down here in handcuffs, and they executed a search warrant on the house, which they did collect some things, and I'd like to talk to you about those things too.
What the in my house that got to do with this homicide? And
I will, and I'm going to tell you about that because, like I said, I'm not going to leave anything out.
It's I can tell you, it's pretty damning. I guess I would use that word.
So,
are you serious?
So, you want to tell them some of the things?
Yeah, I'll just equate. So we did execute, obviously, a search warrant at the house.
Once again, I bet you are wondering how we got here. Viewer discretion advised. This video discusses real events involving violence and the deaths of minors. Some details may be disturbing or upsetting to viewers. This content is intended for informational and documentary purposes only. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Today we're talking about one of the most tragic and disturbing crimes to shake Marion County, Florida, the brutal execution-style murders of 3 teenagers in the spring of 2023. On March 30th, 2023, a rural community in Central Florida was rocked by 3 seemingly unconnected deaths. 3 teenagers, all found in separate locations around Marion County. But as investigators pieced together what happened that night, the truth that emerged was darker and more disturbing than anyone expected. Over the span of just a few days, the bodies of 3 teens, Layla Silvernail, 16, Michael Hodo Jr., 17, and Camille Quarles, 16, were found at separate locations. Here's how the tragic events unfolded. March 30th, 2023. Deputies discovered 16-year-old Layla Silvernail shot in the head and lying unconscious near a dumpster on a rural road in the Forest Lakes Park area. She was rushed to a hospital but later died. March 31st, 17-year-old Michael Hodo Jr. was found shot in the back of the head beside another road. April 1st, police located a partially submerged vehicle, Layla's car, near a pond. Inside the trunk, they found Camille Quarles, 16, shot twice. Authorities later determined all 3 victims were shot and killed before their bodies were discarded miles apart. Investigators from the Marion County Sheriff's Office, assisted by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement and U.S. Marshals, began piecing together the timeline. Detectives found that all 6 teenagers, the 3 victims and 3 suspects, knew each other and had been together on the night of the shootings. Within weeks, a grand jury indicted Robert Leandrew Robinson, 17 at the time of the crimes, Taj Bruton, 16 at the time, Christopher Dale Atkins, just 12 years old when arrested. All 3 were charged as adults, a rare move given Atkins's age, but prosecutors argued the violence and planning showed intent indistinguishable from adults. While authorities never publicly released a complete motive, court filings and interviews show the events may have begun with a robbery. Prosecutors say the group robbed a man at gunpoint earlier that night, then the situation among the teens escalated. Investigators believe Bruton wanted to rob Hodo of a gun he was carrying. Robinson and Bruton later turned on the victims. They think Robinson shot Silvernail and ordered Atkins to shoot Quarles. The boys attempted to dispose of the bodies and cover their tracks. Prosecutors have also noted conflicting stories from the defendants themselves. Bruton and Robinson each blame the other for certain shootings. The suspects were initially scheduled for trial in July 2025, but all three entered open plea deals in 2025.
Was silent before she even had the chance to decide what her future could be. Those boys choose to play God. And for what?
The grandmother of one of the victims from a triple murder in Ocklawaha speaks before the final sentence.
Robert Robinson, the oldest of the three defendants, was sentenced to life in prison for the murders of Layla Silvernail, Camille Quarles, and Michael Hodo Jr. Additional charges of burglary and robbery will be served concurrently. TV2's Kayla Lewis joins us live outside the Marion County Courthouse this evening. Kayla, what did the judge say when sentencing Robinson?
Judge Robert Hodges says he took Robert Robinson's age at the time of the murders into consideration, which was 17, but he says he was only 9 months away from turning 18, and if he would have legally been an adult at the time, they would be having a very different conversation, with the death penalty possibly being on the table. The state told Hodges life in prison was reasonable because the victims' families and community are crushed by the loss of the three teens, Layla Silvernail, Camille Quarles, and Michael Hodo Jr. They say he participated on par with, if not more than, Taj Bruin, who was also sentenced to life in prison this morning. Robinson's mom spoke at one point describing how he has expressed deep remorse and had a rough childhood, with his father being murdered when he was just 2 years old. And Robinson's lawyer read a statement from him, but at the end, Robinson offered up a few words, feeling sorry for what he did.
I'd like to apologize to my mama and my loved one for the actions I have committed. I'd like to apologize to the victim family for the hurt I brought upon them. I made bad choices, and it ain't no excuses for my choices. I'm not gonna make excuses for it or blame anybody but myself. I just want to apologize.
The families of the victims were crying as Judge Hodges announced the life in prison sentence on all three first-degree murder charges for Robinson. In the statement read by Robinson's attorney, he says, quote, "Someone can always do better. I should have done better in school and life." And again, Robinson and Bruin will be serving life in prison, and Christopher Atkins, the youngest defendant, will be serving 40 years in prison. They are all a potential review for after 25 years, and with their time already served being taken into account, the next year they would be eligible for that review is 2048. Live in Ocala, Kayla Lewis, TV 20 News.
Robert Robinson's mother was in the courtroom as well today.
And TV20's Deja Clayton is also outside the courthouse to continue our team coverage. And we turn to her now. Deja, what did she say in court today before the sentence was pronounced?
Well, today, Robinson's mother, Erica Trowell, was clearly emotional today as she spoke about her son. She said she wasn't looking for the court to ignore his actions, and instead she asked for mercy. So today we also learned how or why this all happened. According to Robinson, they wanted a gun that Michael Hodo Jr. had. Robinson says it was more Bruton who wanted to have the weapon. Robinson's mother says her son looks back on what he did with remorse, regret, and shame. She says there is hope for him to become a good person in society. The state mentions that Robinson should have received life because it's clear that Robinson was influencing Atkins, who was only 12 at the time.
From when he first went in, it was no accountability at all. To the person that I'm speaking to today, and he knows the gravity of what had happened and what he's facing.
The state attorney talked with us after today's sentencings, and you will hear from him about the severity of these crimes tonight at 10 and 11. Robinson's age and background were all considered for sentencing, but ultimately he was sentenced to life.
I would like to send my sincerest condolences to the family and loved ones of Layla Silvernail, Michael Hodo Jr., and Camille Quarles. If you found this video informative, please like and subscribe for more deep dives into true crime and justice stories. What questions do you still have about this case? Drop them in the comments and let us know if there are other cases you'd like us to explore.